Welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, Jimmy. I'm telling you, there's so much yay to go around this week. I can't even tell you. It's a glory, hallelujah kind of yay. I'm telling you, man. Except not
Merry
religious
Christmas.
at all. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wisman.
We could not be more excited
Yeah,
for
man.
have you joining us. Thank you so much. New listeners, welcome aboard.
Welcome.
It's a wild one. Buckle up. Old listeners, you know what we're bringing you. It's going to be a good time this week. We have so much fun going on. Before we get to this story of this guy is like, he's like, it's amazing because he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
But take Marvin Barnes,
Yeah.
as we know Marvin Barnes, with the guy who's not getting in a time machine. Take Marvin Barnes from episode, I believe, 20-something. Take him and make him really intelligent. Scary, right? Let's see what happens
It's
with that.
terrifying.
Let's mix that cocktail and see what we end up with. And it's frightening. He does one of the shittiest things a person's ever done.
Really?
Outside of your Eddie Johnsons and your, raping and molestations
Grooming and molesting
things
children.
of that nature.
Right.
This is as shitty as you can be, pretty much. This
Yeesh.
guy, but it's sad because it didn't have to be that way. Before
That's
we get
too
into
bad.
it, it's too bad, really. It's a sad tale.
And you know that's every week. It
It's
didn't
every
have
week.
to be this way.
It did not.
God damn it.
That's what we do. We come from the point of why did you do this? For what?
No purpose.
You had it all,
Right.
And you promptly flushed it directly down the toilet and ran as hard the wrong direction as you possibly could.
Said all
Why?
of that success to the sewer treatment plant and then left a body there.
Left the body there, walked away casually like nothing happened. DNA all over the place.
With buzzards swirling.
Before we get into this week's Tale of Insanity, I would like to thank everybody for their iTunes reviews this week. Got a lot of
Such a
iTunes
big
reviews. Thank you, guys. It helps us immensely. It helps us move up the charts. It helps us get sponsors. It tells people that people are paying attention.
Right.
So thank you, guys.
Tells people that matter and
Yes.
gatekeepers of cash that these guys have people that give a shit.
Absolutely.
And they're unique, real people that are listening and they care so much and deeply are concerned for the well-being of this product.
Yes.
They're willing to put their what's the word? Not livelihood.
No.
It's not livelihood. It's their integrity on the line.
Yeah, they don't really have a
and say-
reputation
right.
as an iTunes commenter. But yes.
But they're integrity. They're saying, look, these people are...
They're vouching for
These
you.
are who I stand by.
They're like a gangster that's going, he's all right.
He's
I know
all
the guy.
right.
He's okay.
You
can
can
talk
use
to
him.
You can use him. A couple of things, house cleaning. We're going to get into shout-outs, and we have some business stuff to tell our
Real quickly, though,
fans
the people
about. But
thank you very much. This week was intense with social media engagement. You guys were fucking amazing this week. Thank you for everything and being so funny.
yes, we definitely appreciate that. We have to announce one very cool announcement. This right now in the Crime and Sports Studios is our last broadcast.
From this studio.
From this studio, because God damn it, we started out in an even worse studio than this. So we made it work, and the sound. You don't notice it from the
you didn't
sound
know.
because
Right.
we work our magic. But
staring at James's face and seeing the pain on it as we sat at a kitchen
to start out with.
Kitchen/dining room/ living room table. We're not there anymore.
We'll get into the
But
specifics
even
of everything
better,
later. But
we're not going to be here anymore.
We're not here. We're moving into an actual, really nice studio with like the top
Brand new,
state of the art top radio station in the city. So we're excited about this,
Yeah.
and so it's going to sound a little bit different, but it could only sound better.
Right.
It
But
could only sound better.
Even with the excitement that we're projecting at this moment, it's not for us to really feel the excitement. It's for you guys because you guys did this for us.
It's awesome.
So thank you for
guys.
listening.
Thank you. You got us noticed, and we have some...
And they give a shit.
We'll give you some announcements later on when we do shout-outs.
Things are coming.
Let's get into idiots and their doings and happenings.
Things are coming. It's because of you, but it's more because of these fucking assholes. So let's discuss an asshole.
It's a good combination between you and people like Jimmy Superfly Snuka, who we're going to do a little update on.
Yeah.
Jimmy Snuka was, I believe, episode 5.
Was it 5? Was it that long ago?
I believe it was, what was it? Violent Forrest Gump was the name of it.
It was that long ago.
Yeah, it was. So Jimmy Superfly Snuka, last we left him, he was ruled, I guess, mentally incompetent at the time for trial. This is he's on trial for murder of a woman in 1984, where he clearly murdered her. So allegedly, whatever the fuck.
Whatever
Prove
we
you
have to
didn't,
say.
asshole, at this point. She had green liquid coming out of her mouth, and you were the only one around her. So guess what happens? You did it, asshole. So anyway, He was on trial for that. He's like 73 years old. He's been hit in the head several trillion times. And they're saying he's mentally incompetent.
Smashed with a coconut on TV.
With a coconut, it's insane. But he just had another, because every once in a while, I guess they have to check up on him. You competent yet?
Right.
Hey, can we put you in jail yet?
Hey, do you know English yet?
You know English yet? Huh? Has Vince McMahon got anything to say for you? So apparently Snuka Skyped into his court hearing from his hospice care place in Florida.
Fantastic.
They don't have hospice around the world. Hospice is where you go when you're going to die.
It's
the last stop.
It's coming.
It's literally heaven's waiting room.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
You don't go home.
No. During the hearing, the doctor was talking about his health and said that he's been suffering from a bunch of infections and his prognosis isn't good. The judge previously ruled him not mentally competent to stand trial. Friday's hearing was to see if his mental state had changed. No official decision yet, but it doesn't seem like
he has 6 months to live. That's what his doctor said.
Seems like he still has, as the official term is, pudding brain. So, and that's not an insult to people with end-of-life problems. Right. It's an insult to him because he's a moron. And if you listen to our episode,
pudding brain before these albums.
Absolutely, not like Pudding Boy.
No.
See Craig Titus for that. Or no, that was Naposki.
Right.
See Eric Naposki. Murder
and
for
also,
Boots.
And also the son of Ray Caruth.
Yes, that poor guy.
Courtesy of Ray Caruth.
Yeah, no, that's sad. Next couple months, too, just want to tell you guys, we got some wild stories coming up for you guys.
I can't wait.
We have a serial killer, a bona fide serial killer.
That was an athlete.
An NFL athlete. Serial killer.
Serial
Legit,
killer.
too.
Yeah.
Dozens.
Nickname and everything.
Wait till you hear about this. We have a guy who pulled out another man's still beating heart.
Get the fuck out of here.
And we have someone who was killed by their mother-in-law. So we're really...
And you guys don't know these.
It's wild. These are all under-the-radar stories.
Incredible.
As is this one we're discussing this week.
Who is our asshole?
If you look on the Wikipedia criminal athletes thing, he's not on there.
Never there.
But he's a criminal, and he's a real dipshit, too. Just a dipshit.
Can I ask you, because you told me why, but I want to ask you and have you tell everybody else, why are we covering this guy this week?
Why are we covering this particular
Because
guy?
who did he play for?
He played for the Dallas Cowboys.
And we would love nothing more than to knock those fucking Cowboys fans down a peg.
All right,
you bastards have had it for too good for too long.
Listen, guys, we get it. Cowboy fans, we understand. We get it, okay? You're going to be upset. Oh, they're bashing the Cowboys. Right. We're actually not going to be bashing the Cowboys that much, but we both do hate the Cowboys personally. We'll put that aside for our whatever the fuck this is, integrity. It's not journalistic, but I don't know what you want to call it. But whatever that integrity is, we're going to put it aside, and we're going to deal with this guy as a whole and the Cowboys case by case, whether they're shitty or not. And they did some shitty things.
Right.
But
enjoy your best record in the league, but we're going to talk about one of your fuck faces for a little bit.
We won't judge your football. We're going to judge your character in this episode. So enjoy that.
All right.
The episode this week is about Larry Bethea.
There you go.
Larry Bethea. Now, I found Larry Bethea while I was researching Thomas Hollywood Henderson, who's another. I cannot wait to do that story, but I'm holding him off for the new year. Okay. Holding him off for the new year. He's that kind of story. Okay. But I found this guy who I had heard of him, but I didn't know what the hell he did, anything about him. Yeah. Larry Bethea. He's a monster. Not really a monster, let's say. He's not a monster. He's an idiot. Yeah. This is a tale of stupidity more than monstrousness. He's born July 21st, 1956 in Florence, South Carolina. Okay. He's a big kid. Yeah. Grows up to be a big boy, 6'2", 250. Grows up in the South. Yeah. Next to Willie Mays Aiken. Yeah. I don't know if if he had flooring or dirt or how this worked, what the plumbing situation was like down there.
Really behind the toilet.
He turns into a really good athlete right away and a brilliant student, too.
Really?
High school, he's National Honor Society, which means you're smart if you're not from the U.S. He goes to Homer L. Ferguson High School in Virginia. Okay. It's in Newport News, Virginia. He's a parade All-American, whatever parade is, I don't know, All-American. He's All-State in 1973. Okay. He's like a student, like a leader of the student body. He is Mr. Campus. Wait till you hear what he turns down to play football more, too. It's insane. In high school, he meets his future wife, Gloria, who they will have some interesting interactions, as you can imagine, from all of our people. High school sweetheart. They got together. Now, in high school, everybody loved him. His coaches loved him. The students loved him. The teachers loved him.
Why not? He's National Honor Society.
One of these, and a great athlete, too, and the best football player they have. He's the star athlete. Coach Harlan Hott of the football team, which sounds like a Southern football coach. Harlan Hott, coach of the football team, coach of varsity.
How you doing, Harlan? Harlan Hott.
Harlan Hott.
Love to meet you.
You got yourself a big boy there. You should sign him up for football, you know what I mean?
Got yourself a strong young boy.
Run him around in 2 days, we'll get him in shape. Let me tell you something. So anyway,
Build some character in that boy.
He says of Larry here, quote, he was the type of student and athlete you'd want every kid to be like. Yeah. He was not only a great athlete, but an overall student leader as well.
And he's big.
And he's huge.
All right.
And he's a big guy, and he's athletic, too. Yeah. Later on, we'll get into his athletic abilities, but he's a very athletic guy. So he's so beloved in high school and such a great athlete and such a smart guy that reportedly, and this is reported all over in newspapers and everything, this isn't just Wikipedia here, this is newspapers of the time, that he was offered scholarships from both Yale and Harvard.
Get out of
here.
To
play football and go ahead as a student athlete also. As a student, because there you can't just be a good football player. You have to actually have good grades
you have to have
as
some
well.
Character, right.
He goes to Michigan State instead.
All right.
Goes to Michigan State.
That's where the fucker is.
Yeah, but actually, from what I understand, it's not a terrible academic school, but it's not Harvard or Yale, obviously. And they also have a little better football team, let's just say. A little bit better. They're, they actually play
He clearly
football.
has an interest in one thing more than the other.
Yeah.
The education's not as big of a deal to him.
I picture the Harvard football team. They found like 3 guys who are probably decently athletic, and the other ones, it's like a bunch of brittle kids who don't go out in the sun much. You know what I mean? And they're like, I can't. It's too sunny today. Yeah, lots of inhalers, lots of sunscreen.
Right.
It's going to bad sign before the game. Like if you're betting on a game and you're looking at the 2 teams in warm-ups and one of them is applying sunscreen, fucking bet against that
Skip
team.
that team.
They're not going to do well, I don't think, in a sport of aggressiveness. I don't think the sunscreen. One team's doing stretches and catching passes and running drills, and the other team's like, what is that, SPF 90?
Right.
Yeah, give me some of that.
Checking on what the field's made out of. Is this rye? I'm allergic.
That's why I'm so stuffy. Do you have any Claritin? And then they're passing allergy medication back and forth. SPF 230 fucking sunscreen. It's like, come on, guys. You sickly
When did you overseed this?
You sickly inbred upper crust assholes. So anyway, 1975, he's in college. He's at Michigan State.
Yep.
And he is a father figure at this point to his first cousin. He's got a younger cousin who's 4 years younger than him.
That's a lot of pressure.
And he's kind of, this kid does not have a father, and he is living in Detroit with no father in the mid-70s. So he could be on a wrong road type of thing. I mean, you never know what could happen to this kid. That's what I mean. This is a 75, too. The 70s were a messed up time in Detroit. Probably not any more messed up than now, but still not great. Now, Bell is in high school. He's a sophomore at this point, and this is Jarrett Bell, his cousin, and he's flunking out of high school. He's failed 10th grade, and so Larry takes him aside and starts, basically taking him under his wing and telling him this isn't what you want to do.
Starts taking
him to Michigan State to show him the campus, show him what you can accomplish.
Oh, don't do that.
This was a good thing, though. It wasn't like, hey, let's do some lines.
Right.
It was,
come over here. I'm going to show you how to do a keg stand.
Yeah, come on, let's get you some women. No, it was like, look what you can accomplish. Look at what I have. You can get here, too. And it inspired him. And he said he was so inspired that he ended up going to Michigan State. He graduated. That? I mean, he really inspired
He recruited him.
He basically recruited him. And, and on the field, he was a monster. Yeah. A monster. I mean, the whole time, he's a defensive lineman, defensive tackle, defensive end. In high school, he played both ways. He played offensive line and defensive line.
Really?
And dominated everything. In high school, a lot of times they do that. You have a dominant athlete. Yeah, he's on the goddamn field every play. You can get on the field. He was probably returning punts, for Christ's sake.
Best of luck tackling our fucking linemen.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, too, he runs a 4.8 40, which is good for a big guy.
And how big is he?
Especially back then. 250, 6'2", 250. But back then, that was athletic for a big guy in the 70s. Now that's nothing. They got guys that are 290 that are athletic, are freaks of nature. But that's, Cam Newton's bigger than this guy.
Right.
That's the thing. Cam Newton's much bigger than him.
And
he runs like a 4.3.
Right.
So athletes are different now.
He's like 6'6".
At the time, but he finishes college with his school record of 43 sacks. If you're overseas, don't know what football is, that's tackling the quarterback while he still has the ball here. Right. That's going pretty simple here. But some people are like, I don't understand anything about sports overseas. Yeah, no, 43 sacks over his career.
Okay.
He sets the record in 77, the school record for having 16 sacks in one season. And in college, that's like 10, 11 games back then. Right. So that's dominating. That is
1 point something a game. That's pretty impressive.
Also develops a bit of a cocaine.
Awesome.
A loving for cocaine. An affinity for cocaine.
A little relationship.
This happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Great guy, nice kid, everyone loves him. You love him so much, you want to share a little cocaine with him. That's everyone likes him, including people with cocaine, and he's a nice guy, affable. You're like, I'll try it. I don't want to make the guy feel bad. It's I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, like crazy.
He's just too polite.
He's too polite. That's all it was. Too polite.
Yeah,
it was fine otherwise. This is the thing.
He's got social cues that just tell him, I should do it.
If someone said, let's go cut that prostitute's head off, he'd be like, I didn't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude.
It was his choice. He invited.
He had a hacksaw. He said, I just had to hold her down. I said, what the fuck? I don't want to be a dick. He's a nice guy. Gave me a ride.
Hilarious.
So 1977, he wins. He's the first defensive player named the Big Ten MVP since Dick Butkus.
Wow.
In 1963. So
Dick Butkus is a Hall of Famer.
That's not only 14 years earlier, but it's Dick Butkus.
Right.
Even if you're not a football fan, you've probably heard of Dick Butkus, not only because his name is hilarious, but he was on TV, he was on commercials. If you look up the old Miller Lite commercials, he was on there. He had a grill.
I think he had a grill, like
Foreman.
Oh my God,
like Foreman.
Yeah.
When you said a grill, I automatically thought teeth.
Jesus
I'm like,
God,
why
no.
the fuck would an old linebacker from the 60s, the whitest guy in the world from Chicago, that guy with the accent and everything, why the hell would he have a grill?
Right,
But no, I think he might have had a grill.
I think he had some sort of barbecue grill.
He seems like the type of man that would sell a product that sausages are prepared upon. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So he's amazing in college, obviously highly touted by the NFL, as we're going to get into here. May 2nd, 1978. From the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City.
Oh, boy.
It's the NFL draft,
there
baby.
It is.
Yeah.
He's in a suit.
Not like it is now on TV with a big deal, and then this was just a bunch of old white guys smoking cigarettes in a hotel conference room, drafting.
Trading people.
Trading young minorities,
like slave
basically.
labor.
Yeah, that's all it was. So Dallas picks Larry Bethea with the 28th pick in the first round. So he's the 28th pick overall.
Wow.
It's funny, too. Behind him in the draft, not a lot of great people, not a lot of Hall of Famers, not a lot of real notable names. Like 4 picks ahead of him, Ozzie Newsome was picked.
That's
the
cool.
Hall of Fame tight end and current GM. I think he's like vice president or whatever of the Baltimore Ravens. Warren Moon went undrafted. So everybody,
No shit.
back then, black quarterbacks, nobody was drafting a black
I
quarterback.
didn't know he was undrafted.
Absolutely. Black quarterbacks. No one was drafting them back
Is he
then.
the first
He was
undrafted
amazing.
player in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, no, there's others. But Warren Moon, it's funny, too, because I just was listening to a radio show he was on, and they were talking about highlights of his from college, and I looked at him. He was a freak in college.
Really?
Amazing. The gun on him, he looked like Black John Elway, basically.
And nobody took a chance.
Athletic, but more athletic than John Elway.
Right.
Athletic, fast. He was
John
Cam
was
Newton
terrible.
that can throw better.
Yeah.
He was Cam Newton with a better arm. Not a better arm.
John
Cam
wanted
can
to
throw,
scramble, but for what reason, I don't know. Because
yeah,
it was always,
cannon.
you see him run and you're just like, oh no.
Absolutely.
But he did it all the
He's going to
time.
break, but no, he was always a huge, big guy, though.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", he was 240 or something. He's a big guy.
He's a wall.
You want to tackle him, bring your lunch. Like, once he gets past, once you get past the linebacker,
Bring your lunch.
no cornerback wants to tackle him. He's
They
much
want
bigger
nothing to
than
do with
them.
that.
Yeah. But anyway, enough football technical shit. We're going to get into fuckery now. This is where the fuckery starts. Jared Bell, his first cousin, Larry's first cousin, was at his apartment when he was drafted by the Cowboys, because what they do is you get drafted by a team, they call you at home.
A phone call, that's
and
right.
they go, hey, we just drafted you, buddy, blah, blah, blah. And you go, holy crap, thanks. I'll do whatever you want. You want me down? Sure, no problem.
I'm
Can't
a
wait to meet
cowboy.
everybody.
Right.
I'm excited, right? The guy on the phone said he wanted Larry to come to Dallas right away for a press conference because he's their first-round draft pick, and the Cowboys were hot shit Super Bowl champions then. They're the Super Bowl champions at this point. They beat Denver in the Super Bowl the year before. Sorry, Jimmy. They beat Denver and Craig Morton and the Orange Crush there in that Super Bowl. So he is being drafted by Super Bowl champion.
That's awesome.
Could this be any better? You turn down scholarships to Harvard, Yale. I mean, that's like right there. How many people in the world are offered that?
Right.
Very few.
Yeah.
And especially how many people who aren't like calculus wizards are offered that? Very few. Goes to Michigan State. It works out. He is now drafted by the best team in the NFL.
Right.
And also, too, the flashiest, gets the most press coverage. And they're Super Bowl champions.
Right.
So,
Deservedly so.
You can't get a better situation to land in. He wasn't drafted second overall by a team with 2 wins that was going to suffer on or whatever. Anyway, so he gets the call saying he's drafted. And Larry right away says, and his cousin's sitting there recalling this later, saying that, hey, he didn't want to rush to town for a press conference. And the guy was like, well, you kind of have to. Like, you're the number 1 draft pick.
Guy.
And he said on the phone to this guy, I do it in their own words, but it's too short for the music, quote, I'm not coming to play for the press.
Holy shit.
You just got drafted by them.
You're coming to
This
play
is
for
your
the
dream.
Cowboys.
This is your dream. Yeah, what are you doing, dude? What the hell is wrong with you?
That's pretty awesome.
Do whatever they want.
He doesn't give a shit.
No, Super Bowl
He
champs.
already doesn't care.
And it's so funny because the Cowboys, Tom Landry, who is their legendary...
Is it too easy for him? Is that what it is?
Well, it's going to get harder. But I think
but
at
I
the
mean,
time,
like,
everything has been easy
Yeah.
so far. He does things, they work out, gets drafted by the champs, no big deal.
Why wouldn't I get drafted by the best team
Absolutely.
in the NFL?
And because he's done everything right so far.
Right.
Besides maybe a little coke in
Right.
college, he's done everything
Right.
right. It's a college kid. Who cares what he's doing,
Right.
right? He's keeping it together. His grades are good. He's playing on the field. Tom Landry was the coach of the Cowboys at the time. Legendary coach for 25
Right.
years. The guy with the hat, the fedora,
Trench coat and the scarf and all that
the
shit.
suit jacket and the
Right.
the trench coat if it was cold and the hat and all
Right.
that shit.
He always wore the fedora, right? That
always
was
had that was his thing, the hat. Yeah, it's big deal.
Yep.
But anyway, so Landry has a quote on drafting him, and it's so funny because they weren't real excited about him.
Really?
No, this is what he says on drafting Bethea. Quote, "We were looking for a cornerback or an offensive lineman, but the field was so depleted by the time we got around to picking that we had to draft for the best available athlete and not for need. We couldn't fill the positions we wanted to. There just wasn't anything there. Bethea is a heck of an athlete, but he's no cinch."
Jesus.
Didn't really want him,
Ouch.
but there was a pile of garbage left, and we said, that looks edible, sort of. Lettuce isn't too wilted.
Like
I guess we'll
raccoons
eat
in a
that.
trash pile.
Pretty much, yeah. Just looking for the hot dog that's not too mangled and maggot-ridden. So he comes to camp. They're looking at him to be a beast. He's the GM of the team. Gil Brandt loves him. He says, quote, "He's no gamble at all." He's disagreeing with Tom Landry, who's the coach. He's saying, no gamble. This is
He's
the guy.
great, yeah.
Like I said, 4'8", 40s, benching 400 pounds, which back then is, and they weren't roiding either back then, or HGH or any of this shit.
Right.
He was just benching 400 pounds.
I'd love
period.
to be able to do that.
Now, during camp, players started to notice that he was very talented, but he had no
skills to
no
speak of.
heart, no work.
Oh.
They all said he had no heart,
It just football wasn't
no
in
fire.
it.
He had no fire. Like Hollywood Henderson, who, like I said, we're going to get a couple quotes from him. I had to stop myself from quoting the fuck out of Hollywood Henderson because we're going to do him later, and I'm like, no, that's a future in their own words. I can't waste that now. Fuck Larry Bethea. He's got his own shit.
Waste his words now.
Not on him.
Yeah.
He gets his own story.
Yeah.
Larry's story's crazy enough without Hollywood Henderson shit. This one coming up. So he says he nicknamed him, quote, Papa Bear, which I guess was that he was just kind of passive and didn't really.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Thanks for noticing.
He'd want to rest after a couple plays and practice, and
What
he
the fuck, man?
didn't want to practice with any kind of minor ailment.
Yeah.
And this was in his rookie year, and they're like, when you're a rookie, you're trying to prove yourself and trying to say, I'll run through a wall, I'll do anything. I'm a rookie. I'd like to take somebody's spot on your team.
Fucking crazy.
You're literally trying to
Listen,
take a man's job.
Right. Anybody listening, if you've got a talent for anything, go fucking use that talent. James and I rearrange our whole lives to get to do this
We don't
because
even
we
have
love
talent.
doing it. Right. We're
just
not even
idiots.
great at this. We're just assholes that
Yeah.
talk about assholes.
Yeah.
And we change our whole lives
an
around
asshole
to be
to know
able
an
to
asshole,
do right. And this dick has all the athletic prowess in the world in the 70s, and he's fucking squandering it already.
Offered scholarships to Harvard. This guy's
Listen,
got
we
things-
already played 2 plays. Can I sit down?
I'm a
There's
little
4,
tired.
dickhead.
Come on, dude, get in there. And then there's another guy who, somebody in the 6th round probably was like, shit, yeah, go sit down, and so I get the reps.
Yeah,
I'm trying to take your
exactly.
job.
Go sit. I got shit I got to prove.
Everyone's trying to take each other's jobs. Now, the 78 season, his rookie season, the Cowboys finished 12-4. So they have a great year. They go on to the Super Bowl that year. So first year he's going to the Super Bowl.
He's already got an NFC Championship ring.
Amazing. They lose to the Steelers 35-31. Anybody who's a football fan will know the play that lost it for him, the tight end who gets hit between the numbers in the end zone, and I don't know how he couldn't catch it by accident. It bounces off his chest like it was a Super Bowl.
He just didn't want it.
And the guy immediately, as it bounces, starts just punching the ground. And the announcer goes, "Oh, he's got to be the sickest man in America." And that's the greatest call of anything. He's got to be the sickest man in America right now. And the shot is him just laying on the ground, punching the grass and ripping it out like a fucking child. You're like, oh, that poor son of a bitch. He's going to go home and off himself.
That's a guy that clearly took a couple plays off in practice.
Definitely. And it wasn't Larry Bethea.
No.
He gets a pass on this one. It wasn't him. 1979 season, that's the next season. He comes into camp. He's the same shit. He just doesn't have the heart as everybody else. He That year, Ed Too Tall Jones, who people should know who he is just because his name's Too Tall.
Right.
And he's been in a lot of things. Ed Too Tall Jones was trying to be a boxer that year.
What?
He went to try to be a boxer for some reason. He was in movies.
I never knew that.
It's insane. So they needed him to be a defensive end.
Yeah.
Larry Bethea to be a defensive end. And they said he didn't have the aggression. The coaches said he wasn't aggressive enough to be a defensive end because you're going after the quarterback at defensive end.
So
you're
he's not
just
doing
waiting
coke
around.
before games.
He might, but it's not affecting him the same. They moved him in the interior. That fucking frosted-haired douchebag Skip Bayless. Yeah, motherfucker, Skip Bayless. I'm still talking about you, you shithead. Not that you'd listen to this, but fuck you still, Skip.
Maury Povich-looking motherfucker.
I watched his show, the fucking one with him and Shannon Sharp. It's worse than the other one. It's fucking worse.
And I love Shannon Sharp, but
it's
it's
worse.
So hard to listen to him, too.
Terrible.
Yeah.
They're like, I'll pretend to be an asshole, and you pretend to be an asshole. It's like, no, both of you are assholes. Both pretending and in real life.
Shannon Sharp's my favorite tight end ever. But play football and shut your fucking mouth.
He's funny, too, Shannon
he
Sharp.
Is,
He's being held back. I just would rather have Shannon Sharp just talking about, toaster pastries rather than hear him arguing with fucking
The packets for frosting are so small.
Now, let me tell you about those toaster strudels. You got to do a wavy pattern on them. You can't be doing crisscrosses or nothing. You're going to run out before you get it.
They need to double the frosting.
No.
That is not enough frosting.
This fucking frosted hair atop a pile of turds, Skip Bayless called him, quote, no mean Bethea, in reference to Mean Joe Green, which is a terrible nickname even, you shithead. You're not even good at that. You're not even good at sensationalizing something, you fucking douche.
No mean?
You no talent old fucking hack. Retire. That way you can go home and let your hair go gray. Vain, the vanity of this asshole. I'm 68 years old, but I'm going to have a frosty, permed, like a windblown look. Go fuck yourself. Would you just come in your convertible, you fucking moron? God. Jesus fucking Christ. Go home, collect Social Security, and fucking croak, you douchebag. Moving on.
I'm so excited right now.
I hate Skip Bayless. I swear I did not mean to fucking go off on Skip Bayless. Seeing his name written makes me crazy. I hate him. So he tells Skip Bayless. Now,
I hope that's not his real name.
Skip? It's not Skip.
I bet it's self-dubbed, too.
Yeah. He got to college and he's like, everyone calls me Skip.
Right.
No, they don't.
In terms of how good he is at nicknaming people, it would make sense that he picked Skip.
So for some reason, Bethea is talking to this idiot with a frosted fucking mop on his head. He's talking to this idiot, and I don't know why, he's nicknaming him piss-poor nicknames. Right. And he's telling him, he's like giving him a heart-to-heart, Bethea. Bethea is saying he was only in his second year in the NFL, and he's saying he regretted not going to Harvard.
Really?
Yeah, he said he's regretting not going to Harvard. I have an in their own words.
I regret it for you, man.
Yeah, no shit.
That was a dumb move.
But he's regretting being in football at all. He's just not feeling it.
He was a fucking investor of some sort?
Something. In their own words, quote, I'd be in law school by now. When I was back in high school, I had more forethought than most. Everybody else was into stars and heroes. I had bigger plans. So he's like, I have a head on my shoulders more than these guys. Right. I don't know where that head goes in the next couple of years.
I had forethought. I wanted to be something that was not in the fucking public eye.
And shit is going to fall apart quickly here. He's going to be in the public eye and then out of it and then in it for the wrong thing. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. 1980, a little bit of tragedy here. His sister dies in 1980, which has to be a big deal. Yeah. He's still only 24 years old at this point, so I mean...
Starts to make you think about your own life, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can't not think about your own life, I would think, if your sister dies. Plus, who knows how close they were. They could have been very close. And people like him. He's a sweet guy. Yeah. He's very loving, and people get close to him. Right. He's not like...
And at 24, when your sister dies, you think about how short her life was cut, and then you start thinking about the mistakes you've made and where you're at in your life. Yeah. Granted, you're in the fucking NFL, but he's probably sitting around thinking more and more, I should have gone to Harvard.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, too, at this point, right around now, he finds out that him and his wife are not able to have children also.
Oh, which one?
Kind of a big deal.
Is it her or him?
It's not. I don't have their medical records.
I want to know so badly.
I do, too. God.
Is it his dick or her twat?
Let me tell you something. I researched the balls off of this shit. I look at a lot of things. That was one piece of information I could not acquire.
That would be so fascinating.
If I could pull that out of my ass, boy.
If it's him.
Patreon.com/crime and sports.
You
if
better
I could find
pay
out.
up.
Man,
But I want to know.
I'm going to say it's his faulty ball bag because of what happens after this. His unraveling makes me think it's got to be him for some reason.
Because that will fuck a man up.
It's mostly cocaine, but this might have been part of it. Or I might just give it up and be like, well, shit, I'm not going to have a family. Fuck it. Like, who cares? 1981, Jarrett Bell, we remember him, Larry's first cousin, graduates from Michigan State University.
Look at this.
Look at that, right? I mean, he got him from basically high school Detroit street dropout in 10th grade to graduating from Michigan State University, which is
a success.
Fucking A. And he owes it to Jarrett Bell. Always says, I owe it all to Larry. Larry was the guy who guided me through it. He was like my father, blah, blah, blah. They were only 4 years apart. When he came into college, Larry was a senior and he was a freshman.
All right.
He must have had a good freshman year because Larry hangs out with him all the time too. He's got the big man star on campus, sack record holder, insane famous guy, and that's your first cousin. You're with him everywhere.
Doesn't know he's impotent yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's like married at this point even. Yeah. So I mean, who knows? I'm sure he was fucking around on the side, but if he wasn't, imagine everything that was being diverted his way.
If he's not fucking, the avalanche
diverted
of
like the Colorado River.
Jesus, forget it.
Insane.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I'm married, but my cousin Jared ain't.
He's not married, and he's sitting there like, hi. He's like a journalism major.
I'm a freshman. That means my dick is always hard, constantly.
Kind of wanted the guy with the sack record, but whatever. Now Jared moves right to Dallas. He moves to Dallas on a Monday. His first night in town, he picks up his cousin from practice, picks up Larry from Cowboys practice.
From the fucking field.
From the
compound.
Meets Ed Too Tall Jones and Drew Pearson, who are both very famous football players.
What a great night.
Huge stars at this point. Not only that, they invite him to go to the Monday Night Football party at the Playboy Club with them. And they said, even if your cousin doesn't want to go, you come on your own, blah, blah, blah. We'll take care of you. So,
as long as Larry don't come along.
Even if he doesn't come, you're invited. Welcome. So he ends up going out. He said, of course. What a great night in town. He's with the biggest stars in town, Too Tall and Pearson. And they're, in some crazy. He said it was beautiful. It was, I mean, imagine that for a kid who just graduated from college.
I can't.
Must have been the best, man. Anyway, so he moves to Dallas that Monday. The next day, the Tuesday, Larry gets him a job writing for the Dallas Cowboy Weekly, which was a little magazine newspaper thing about the Cowboys. Yeah. So next day, he's got a job 2 days out of college.
He's the beat writer for the Cowboys.
It's not in the paper. It's like one of their little publications. Okay. But he's writing articles and he's getting experience. And in Dallas, if you work for the Cowboys, you're pretty gold. And you can take other jobs, like the job he took at the Dallas Times-Herald that he ended up getting, which is the big newspaper there. So he ended up parlaying that later on.
It's called the Herald of whatever.
Yeah, it's Times. It's got Times and Herald in it. That's a newspaper right there. I'll tell you something. Now, 1981 season, they make it all the way to the championship game. This is kind of the last hurrah of the Cowboys for a while here, until the early 90s.
Yep.
But they make it to the championship game, and anyone who's seen any of this, you've seen football highlights, you've seen this play. Joe Montana, number 16, in the red uniform there, rolling out to his right and throwing kind of off his back and hitting the guy just on the fingertips. He catches it. Dwight Clark in the end zone. It's called the catch.
Right.
It's literally in football. How many catches are there?
There's the one.
80 of them a game. Right. That's the catch.
There's the catch and the drive. That's the catch.
If you look at that play, because they show Joe Montana from the front, you can see Larry Bethea jumping up and getting the ball thrown over him.
Awesome.
So he's the guy that couldn't get to Montana
to
lose the game for the Cowboys. It wasn't his fault, but still, you can see him.
It's nice to have him there.
You can see him failing if you see that highlight. Just look up the catch. Yeah. Joe Montana, the catch, and you'll see Bethea failing right there. So 1982 comes around, a little more Hollywood Henderson here. Hollywood Henderson and Larry Bethea, Hollywood would later write in a big article book that he did that this was the year where Larry and Hollywood just did freebase cocaine all year together.
Oh my God.
They were freebasing cocaine all season, just having a ball. So Larry has now crossed over from, what a great guy, does a little coke on the side too. We going to freebase cocaine right now, tonight? Huh? I'm hanging out with this guy that's nicknamed Hollywood, and we're going to go freebase a bunch. Shit has gone awry.
Yeah.
He's gone off the fucking reservation like crazy at this point. I mean, what are you doing?
Left turn for sure.
This is it, man. This is the left turn. It's all downhill from here.
Oh, boy.
I mean, this is where it gets real interesting now. 1982, no names mentioned yet, but 1982, a memorandum is written by an FBI agent named Daniel Mitrione Jr. a little shady here. Let's not trust a guy named Junior in any strike, first of all. So,
and Mitrione sounds a little suspect, too.
Mitrione, I'm going to get into that, too. Okay. There's a couple other names. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk. I got a little something locked and loaded for this shit. Anyway, so he is accusing 5 Cowboys players in this memo to his bosses of point shaving, which if you don't know what point shaving is obviously people bet on games and football, there's point spreads.
Right.
So they'll say, I think this team will win by 7 points or more.
Right.
Now, point shaving is you pay people to either you score less points on purpose or you let them get an extra touchdown on purpose or whatever.
Maybe let them get an easier kick for that field goal to go through.
You trip and fall down when you're covering the receiver. Right. You throw an interception if you're the quarterback. Right. You drop. It's just little things like that.
Right.
And point shaving scandals have gone on forever and in every sport.
Every sport
around the world I've read about.
Basketball's huge.
It's the easiest to do in basketball. Football, it's a little harder.
Right.
Because there's more guys. The more people
there's only a couple ways to score
on the field.
In football,
plus, the more people on the field, the harder it is to control anything that's going on.
Right.
There's 22 guys out there. God fucking knows what's happening. So anyway, they would shave points apparently in exchange for cocaine. Not even for money.
What?
For cocaine.
Oh, they're getting ripped off already.
No shit. These are coke addicts. Cokeheads do that.
That's the only people, because that is a dopey thing to do.
This is all a part of an FBI investigation called Operation Airlift. Mm-hmm. It's an operation that is basically looking into cocaine smuggling in the Dallas area, out of the Dallas FBI field office. Now, Mitrione writes that 2 sources told him of these events that are going on, separate sources, whatever, he hands it in. The memo was given to his superiors 2 months later, for some reason he waited, but nothing was ever filed because the supervising agent, Jim Ciano, one second here, we're going to talk about this, said it was too vague. He said, quote, I'm the one that handled the report. I'm the one who decided what to do with it. Nothing was done because nothing should have been done. This guy's like, go fuck yourself. But I think he's covering his ass because this is at a later date.
Sounds like somebody's got some money riding on the next game.
Jim Ciano and Mitrione.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are all these fucking guineas joining the FBI in the early 80s? What the fuck are you doing?
It's bizarre. There's other much better things to do with your name.
I grew up, you weren't, like, my grandmother is from Italy and shit. She didn't believe in calling the cops. She didn't believe in calling the cops. I remember a few years ago, I was at a house in Phoenix and there was a shooting down the street. And somebody wanted to call the cops, and she said, well, what the hell are you doing? Mind your own business, in her Italian accent. Well, you don't know them. That's not your concern.
James, I didn't know who I was hanging out with. You were in a neighborhood where there was shootings?
Yeah. It was,
what the fuck?
I don't know. Somebody was shooting at somebody. I don't know the reason why.
I'm fucking scared to death right now.
It's not this neighborhood.
What am I hanging out with?
But, so my girl was at, like, Easter, too. It was on Easter.
What?
Who shoots people on Easter?
People in bad neighborhoods.
My grandmother, it wasn't even that bad. My grandmother, though, was upset that someone wanted to call the police. She's like, what the hell? I mean, she's from Italy.
You mind your business.
She came after World War II, so she was like under Nazi occupation. So she's like, just don't tell anybody anything. Hide in the hay. Just go.
Say nothing.
Say nothing. That's what she did.
Have another meatball.
Yeah, that's it. So, but these fucking guys, I don't understand it. They all did it. Back then, it was like this weird thing where you were like, you were either, if you were an Italian guy, you either were like, they thought of as like a mob guy, or you had to run the other way and be the most upstanding man on the face of the earth. You had to be like, I'm going to join the FBI and the fucking Rotary Club, and I'm going to, the Boy Scouts.
I'm going to wear a badge around my neck.
It's fucking ridiculous, you self-hating assholes. That's what they are. You fucking self-hating douchebags.
Hilarious.
Go join Skip Bayless in retirement and drop dead.
So
anyway, now the NFL spokesman said of this whole deal here, this memo, Joe Brown, he said, quote, we're talking to authorities to see what, if anything, they have, and as we routinely do with reports of this type. Because I'm sure there's lots of shit coming into the NFL office. Brown also said the NFL was investigating, of course. Now, let's introduce the asshole, silver-haired, middle-aged white man of the week here.
Great.
If you're a hardcore Cowboy fan, you'll know him because he was the president of your team since its inception, Tex Schramm.
Okay.
Tex Schramm is a douchebag, silver-haired shit fuck. And we're going to get into why. Okay?
Jesus.
They're all over the place this week, okay?
You have so many opinions this week. It's
I do. I'm angry at
crazy.
these people. Well, it's Skip Bayless. It's Italian FBI agents. A lot of things are coming to the
You're
surface,
like an Italian
Jimmy.
Nancy Grace
I
today.
am. Yeah, really. This is good. Except there's no missing child, so relax, everybody.
There's no missing child that you're masturbating to.
This Tex Schramm, this idiot here is one of these guys who likes to pretend like everything's fine and his players are his guys. Meanwhile, he knows exactly what's going on. exactly the definition of a silver-haired middle-aged white man, just sitting there like, well, I'll cover for them if it suits my needs.
Right.
And then otherwise I'll throw them under the bus if I'm done with them because I'm an asshole.
Win the game, fuck up, and I'll get ready and tell everybody.
Yeah. So now Tech Schramm is aware of this memo at this point. We're going to have 5 different occasions where he's aware of drug use, and then we'll get a quote from him later on that will make you want to go dig him up and piss on him. So he says he called the report, quote, ridiculous, 100% false, totally irresponsible, and said anything strong enough to imply that is worth investigating. And they didn't investigate it, so what does that tell you?
So clearly
basically?
It's not right.
He's telling my guys are clean.
Right.
Fine, that's one report.
I don't believe you. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Exactly. Where would we be? Would we be doing this right now? No, it'd be pointless to do this right now. So, July 9th, 1983. Now, keep in mind, this was in basically the FBI uppers, the bosses got this in February of 83. Okay. Now we're in July of 83. And we know that he's been freebasing with Hollywood Henderson and all this. So there's drug use. We know
5 months later.
5 months later, 5 Dallas Cowboys are publicly named in an FBI probe of cocaine use. How many guys were in the point shaving?
5.
So this sounds pretty coincidental.
Up.
These guys might be the guys. Now, the players are Harvey Martin, Tony Dorsett, Hall of Famer, and a great player.
I've met him.
Oh, he's a great player.
Yeah.
Tony Hill, Rod Springs, and of course, our pal Larry. Of course, he's in the mix too.
Tony is a fucking crazy little man.
Oh, he is.
He used to play for the Broncos too. His last season was with the Denver Broncos.
That.
I met him at the Hall of Fame because I went when Warren Moon got inducted.
Oh, wow.
And I met him. I crashed Warren Moon's acceptance party. You can just wander around that town and wander into the acceptance. It's fucking... If you have the chance to get to Canton, Ohio during football, the Hall of Fame week, fucking go. It's ridiculous. There's stars... Every one of them that's in the Hall of Fame is fucking there if they're alive.
That's awesome.
And so Tony's there.
It's like The Gathering.
All 5'7" of him.
Jacket on and get down there.
Piss drunk.
Oh, man.
Hitting on my girlfriend.
Perfect.
Is the greatest fucking thing ever. He's a nut.
He has some awesome quotes. I had to stop myself from quoting him more because he's great.
I guarantee he's got that CTE
he's got
shit.
Funny
he's
things.
Fucked up, and it's hilarious.
He was pretty lucid back then, as we'll see. This investigation says that there's wiretaps implicating players and witnesses, and they're tied to, like, Harvey Martin and Tony Hill are subpoenaed by the defense in a drug trafficking trial. If you're subpoenaed by the defense in a drug trafficking trial, you're hanging around the wrong fucking people.
No
put
doubt.
it that way. It was the trafficking trial of Loriberto Ignacio, who's a Brazilian guy accused of basically having a Brazilian cocaine pipeline to Texas.
Yeah.
The lawyers are, all the players have obtained lawyers at this point also because they don't know what's coming down. This is just announced.
Right.
We have evidence these guys are using cocaine. We're going to publicly announce it and then figure it out later. That's insane. Can you imagine that now?
No.
This is nuts.
That's really brave.
There's no charges filed. It's not we charged for 5 people and here they are. This is just we're probing these 5 guys. We have evidence of we're sullying their name and then we're walking along, moving on.
I think that's illegal now.
I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's not.
Isn't that illegal? Isn't that a character assassination or defamation of some
It's at
sort?
least a dick move in the eyes of the law. I think that's classified with
minimal.
The 1812 ruling of
Dick move.
Harris versus Bergeron. Right. I believe it was ruled dick move by the Supreme Court of the United States. Now, there's an article about this in the July 10th, 1983 Advocate Messenger from Danville, Kentucky. Yeah. It's an article about the players connected to the drug probe, and it says all of these details, but I couldn't even look at the details because I was so distracted by the insanely low prices down at Hex. It's a store, and they're having doorbuster sales, Jimmy.
Is it Hex, H-E-X?
No, H-E-C-K-S.
Of course it is.
Apostrophe, fucking ownership.
Yeah,
Heck
some
owns
guy
that.
named Heck owns it.
Robert Heck, nice to meet you. Come on down to my store. He's got doorbuster sales, Robert Heck, this Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Yeah. Jimmy, you can get an Atari 2600 for only $89.99.
Wow.
Jimmy. $89.99.
That's crazy as heck.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
This part. That's your weekly kick in the balls right there, Jimmy. Your weekly kick in the balls. It's coming. Everybody right now mentally kick Jimmy in the balls. Picture his face and picture it going, ooh, scrunched up from ball pain.
I'm proud of that one. Let's move on.
So you can get styrofoam coolers for $1.19 a piece.
You still can.
You still can. 6 packs of Pepsi cans, only $1.59.
You still can.
Which drives, no, they're like more 6-pack.
Yeah.
Which drives me nuts because in the same era, I remember from a few weeks ago, there was like $1.89 for a 2-liter. What the fuck is going on with Pepsi prices up and down like the stock market back then? What is happening? Like, what is it, 1 week? Oh, shit, Pepsi's high this, was it gasoline? What's going on with this shit, man?
The sugar cane was cheap this week.
I guess so, $1.59. So we have Tex douchebag Schramm here on the whole case here. He says, quote, "It's a distraction because of the undefiniteness of everything. And I'm concerned because in the manner the names have surfaced, we have no way of knowing the validity or depth of their involvement. My gut feeling, knowing the players, is that if they were involved, it was at a marginal level, a recreational level, which I don't think the authorities are interested in." Is that the total silver-haired middle-aged? It was just kids being kids messing around. I'm sure they were running around.
Recreational coke.
Yeah, I picture them playing miniature golf and then just having a snort every once in a while. Just a quick one, but otherwise very innocent.
Fuck no.
Party hats on, just yay, cake and clowns.
There's a mess of it on the dash of a fucking 72 Buick in the parking lot.
You know there is. You know there is. While a pimp looks at his watch going, when's he bringing that hooker back? I hope she's not going to have cocaine all over her face. She's not going to work well the whole fucking night. That's a lost night of income, Jimmy. You can't do that. You can't coke up his hooker. There's no hooker involved in the story at this point. Now, also, too, there's an NFL report from the league that cites 10 players on the Cowboys suspected of drug use that Schramm also knows about. So he's just deflecting everything.
He just got the whole defense.
He did. And the Cowboys have such clout media-wise, too, that there's fluff pieces on the Cowboys coming out 6 days after this report.
Is going on.
July 15th, 1983. Less than a week later, there's an article, complete fluff piece on the Cowboys titled, "Cowboys Image Not Hurt by Drug Tales."
Oh, boy.
Okay, you're telling us that?
Yeah.
We'll tell you if they're hurt, if the image is hurt. How's that? This article calls them the Cocaine Cowboys, which that's where that phrase came from, I think. But also said how they're still the most popular team in the NFL, and it doesn't matter, and people love them.
Still America's team.
Just glitz and glatt. Doesn't matter. They haven't won the Super Bowl in 5 years. They have fucking 20% of the team's on cocaine.
Still worth more than any franchise in the NFL.
Which is funny because that's 10 out of 50. That's about 20%. Remember Steve Durbano in hockey? What did he say? About 20%? It's 2 guys on every. It's exactly the same thing. 20%.
That's hilarious.
So apparently in the 80s, 20% of professional athletes were doing coke, whether it be hockey, football, Canada, Michigan, Texas. It doesn't matter.
Rich people.
Now, July 18th, 1983, Tony Dorsett, running back, your boy here, publicly denies charges of cocaine use and abuse. He talks to reporters as he arrives to training camp. He's saying that he's not guilty of anything and that he sat down with investigators last year when they were doing the other probe.
Yeah, the point shaving.
So he just outed them as this is the 5 guys that were in the point shaving probe, which probably fucking happened.
Why'd you talk to the feds last year, Tony?
And guess what?
Nobody put that together?
That's not in the paper.
I'm
reading the shit. I put that together, not them. They didn't say, hey, he talked to them last year, like in that other fucking thing from Mitrione. That never came up. I'm not a journalist. We're not journalists. We're comic idiots. And these people were in the middle of this, in the middle of Texas.
Somebody with a notepad writing down what he said never said, wait a minute, what?
Skip Bayless, before he was a plastic surgery plastic fuckwad, was there writing this down.
Before his botched surgeries.
Not putting any of this together. Nothing. It's fine. He says that he's not guilty of anything. Like I said, he said, he sat down with the investigators. He would do it again if they wanted him to. And that he's tired of his name being dirtied. He's basically like, what the fuck?
You're dirtying your own, Tony.
Oh, yeah, he's got a quote here. One day it's this story, then the next day it's another story. Then it becomes frustrating, and you wonder why. Why are they doing this? If you want to sling mud, sling the mud. Let's get this over with. Basically, like, if you're going to fucking charge me, and you never charge me, and no charges are ever filed.
So let's not talk about this anymore.
It's insane, man. So this 1983 season is shaping up to be eventful. So this is training camp.
This is fun.
They just got there. They're practicing without pads on. They're running around in shorts and like mesh shirts.
Not even getting hurt.
And a helmet. Yeah, no, the guy with a red shirt on out there. No one's hitting. So this is getting crazy, and now we start getting a little bit of Bethea's personality here.
Awesome.
And it's fucking great. He's a space cadet, this guy, quite literally.
The real Larry's coming out.
It's fucking funny. He says, and there's a phrase in here that he's going to use again later on that I find amusing as shit. Mm-hmm. This is him at training camp in '83 with all this swirling cocaine probe and everything. He says, in their own words, quote, "I have my personal perspective in life together. As a cowboy, you have all things coming to you. There's a whole lot going on. If you don't have your perspective together, you can get swallowed up like Thomas Henderson, Hollywood Henderson,
right.
I told you about. I think by perspective, I think you can plug in the word shit in there. Like, that's like, I have my personal shit in life together. Now, let me tell you something. Like, that's what I got out of that. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's using the word perspective quite like he wants to, but that's fine. Now, July 26th, this is in like a 2-week period. This is July 9th, the report came out about the FBI probe. This is July 26th. This is happening. NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle, because there's so much publicity around the FBI thing.
He's got to say something.
He suspends 4 NFL players. None of these guys, 4 other guys. Pete Johnson and Russ Browner of the Cincinnati Bengals. So much cocaine with the Bengals. Yeah. See Stanley Wilson of the Symphony of Self-Destruction a few episodes back.
Steamer.
And also Greg Stemrick of the New Orleans Saints and E.J. Jr. of the St. Louis Cardinals, all suspended for 4 games without pay.
E.J. Jr.
Yeah, you remember him, I'm sure.
He's a bad man because he's a junior.
He's a junior.
Right.
No, that was his last name.
Oh, okay.
His last name
was Junior?
You know he's got to kill someone at some point.
Fucked for him.
At this point, he is charged with felony cocaine. He got arrested for felony cocaine possession. Okay. So he is doing badly. Yeah. But Browner and Johnson were testifying at a federal drug trial of a convicted trafficker that brought cocaine from South America. No charges are filed against either of them, but in the court documents it's shown that they were doing coke and buying coke from this guy. Now, E.J. Jr. and Stemrick were both arrested in felony cocaine busts and separate incidents. They weren't like hanging out.
And so they fined or suspended them?
They suspend these guys 4 games without pay. Pete Rozelle, who we've talked about a lot, silver-haired, middle-aged white man, number 1 here.
Oh, extraordinaire.
These guys he doesn't need them anymore. He says that the players that are implicated in drugs would be suspended even if they were not charged with any crime.
So is this like foreshadowing? He's got to make it a big deal right away?
Oh, yeah. He's got to say, look, I don't even care if they're in trouble. If I hear they're on drugs, I'm suspending them.
Cleaning this shit up.
Yeah, which is... get a union, guys. Get your union strength up. If I hear you're on drugs, you're out. That's not how fucking employment works.
No.
So anyway.
Especially if you've got a union.
So Cowboys president Tex Stram, again, this dickhead says, quote, "It appears the league will not condone the use of drugs. This puts NFL players on notice from this day forward."
You think so?
It appears they're not going to let... I thought it was fine, but it appears they frown upon that.
It appears they do not even like recreational coke.
Schramm also said this, quote, "People may ask if this... God damn it. If this won't stop players from coming forward and admitting a problem so they can receive treatment. What this is in the past. If they had a problem, we want to correct it."
Oh, he said that with so much anger,
The fuck does that mean?
Yeah, he has no idea what he's saying.
Do you know what that meant?
No, he's just mad and just spitting out words. What this
that
is
was double talk.
That was
what
so
this
much,
is it's such double talk. If they had a problem, we want to correct it. But no, because then they're going to get suspended, which was the point you made in the beginning. And I love how he said, people may ask also if this won't stop players.
Right.
Texans use the word won't in place of will. Have you noticed that? They use won't, and it works for some reason. That's the other thing, Texas.
People are like,
how do you pull that off? How do you say the opposite of the word that you want to say, the literal opposite, and have it still sound the same and work fine? You guys have some kind of way with fucking words.
You figured it out.
You know what? Salute, Texas.
That whole
Good job.
statement is like when your wife catches you looking at a woman's ass and you just like stutter through the explanation.
Oh, what had happened was, it was one of those.
I saw shoes and there was a quarter and...
Jesus. So,
your players are on coke, Shram.
They're all on coke, Shram. Wake up. Dorset on the probe.
You looked at her ass.
Come on, Tex, get your head out of your ass. So Dorset on the FBI probe, another Dorset quote. He said, quote, "The whole thing would have never been more than a city case if it hadn't been the Dallas Cowboys. I guess you're supposed to screen everyone you come in contact with to protect your image. When you're America's team, you have to stay clean." Do you sense sarcasm dripping off of that?
So much.
Well, I guess you got to screen everyone you come in contact with if you're a Cowboy. Fuck you. I get that hugely. So
funny.
1983, the Cowboys are so concerned about this, they hire a former FBI agent named Larry Wansley to be on their payroll to keep an eye on the players. They literally have an FBI agent on their payroll.
They bought a bug or a mole, and they told everybody, we got a mole, here he is.
And they don't say that it is. I got one last Dorsett quote on this. He says, quote, "I don't think that's what we need to bring unity to this team. If we can't do it without a security man, I think we're in trouble," which is smart.
He's called a babysitter, sir.
This guy, this is what they say about him. He is, quote, there to be, quote, available to players who may need help in a variety of areas, including drug abuse. His title is, get this, quote, Director of Counseling Services. I don't know. Hire a fucking counselor if you want to counsel them. You don't hire a fucking law enforcement guy, investigative spy guy to come in, tell me everything. Oh, yeah, sure, FBI agent. Let me spill the beans.
Hey, come here and tell me something. Can you hold these handcuffs just in case?
Yeah, I feel really comfortable telling you all my intimate details when you have the federal government's law enforcement behind you. That sounds great.
And who are those guys with the earpieces?
Now, 1983, he wants out of Dallas.
Yeah.
They're not playing
Fuck
him.
yeah, I want out.
They're not
I do
playing
coke,
him.
and there's a guy that frowns upon it standing right there.
Absolutely. So he's granted his release in 83 during the season by Tom Landry. He says, all right, we don't use you anyway. One of the coaches said about him, this is great, quote, he was an unusual young man, not in a bad way, he just needed to be coached in a different way. I'm not saying Larry was doomed from the beginning, but today's atmosphere, I think he would have been handled differently. I think they would have spotted his problem early on, which is, back then they were just like, if you played well or just played and showed up and everything and you were on coke, as long as you weren't making a big scene about it, they didn't give a shit. It wasn't like, let's seek this guy out and help him and get his problem better so him and his family don't fall apart and, he has a bad future. They were just like, I think we can get another year out of him.
You can have coke on your nose and be like, I'm just ashy.
They're freebasing. It's okay, but we'll get it. We'll get them together. It's fine. They're going to be there come game time. Don't worry about that. Now, we have one of the more batshit in their own words here on his life in general, and he uses the phrase personal perspective again. In their own words on
personal shit.
Life and leaving the Cowboys and just his general outlook here. Quote, I've got my personal perspective in life. I met a psychic in Virginia who laid the groundwork for me to understand myself and the ways of the world. It's far-reaching and far-fetched. I know you might think I'm from outer space and was dropped off on this planet if you get my drift, but I'm here and I'm together and that's all that concerns me.
No.
What the fuck are you talking about? How much cocaine are you on if you're talking about that?
So much.
Look, man, I know it sounds like I'm like from another planet and drop me off, if you get my drift, but it's cool because I'm here and I'm together, man. I got it together. My personal perspective, my brother psychic told me in Virginia, what's that over there? What's going on? He just wanders off.
That sounds like every conversation I've ever had with a homeless man at an off-ramp of a freeway.
A homeless man or a guy on cocaine. Yeah. One of the two.
That's
or a homeless
hysterical.
man on cocaine.
That was the way you just did that.
What the fuck is he doing?
It puts everything into perspective.
He's Marvin Barnes plus about 40 IQ points and a bunch of cocaine.
That is crazy. This thing to bring in, to invoke a psychic.
A psychic. He said, my personal shit is together because I have this psychic that laid the groundwork for it.
I have this lady that reads rocks, and she told me.
She told me I'm good now. So I know I was freebasing, and the FBI's looking at me, but I'm good now.
She looked at a fucking geode and told me my life is in good shape.
Good God.
With their essential oils.
The essential oils are telling me that it's time to quit the NFL. Fuck.
She burned some sage in her room and told me my life's great.
Jesus.
And he's banking on this.
He is. And Ed Too Tall Jones, here, a teammate that we talked about before, he has a great quote about him. He says, quote, he would stare up at the sky at night when we come out of training camp meetings and say, they're coming, guys. We just laughed. We didn't know who was coming, but he was always nice, extremely nice, always had something positive to say. They're like, he was crazier than a shithouse rat, but we were like, whatever, he's a nice guy.
If you came out of work with a coworker and you were like, all right, have a good night, drive careful going home.
All just
and he's just looking at the sky going, they're coming.
They're coming, man.
What the fuck?
And they're
I'm
like,
out of here.
Larry's crazy, man. That's just what they do.
No,
Larry.
I don't write that shit off. I call security.
I think
Keep
they
an
knew
eye
he was on cocaine. Holy shit. So they're coming, guys. Like, hey. Now, December 29th, 1983, the USFL, the United States Football League that we've talked about, that Donald Trump ruined, that he killed and whatever, they sign him. They come calling. They're like, we need this guy. The USFL was in competition with the NFL. They're an upstart league in 83. And they're just, I think 84 this is the second year of the USFL going into because they played in the spring.
Gotcha.
But so they were looking to steal NFL talent, period. If you were NFL player so-and-so, your ass was signed, basically, because it just looked legit at that point. He signs with the Michigan Panthers of the USFL, so he's going back
to Michigan.
And that's another reason why they would sign him. He's a local draw. He's a draw. And if a guy can bring in an extra 300 people for the USFL, that meant something because their numbers weren't great.
Yeah.
They were like a struggling comedy club in a bad area. You know? You're like, ooh, we're not drawing well. You really want to run a Wednesday show? Really? Really want to do that? You want to do Fridays through Saturday?
Well, we got T.A. Burrows coming in this weekend.
Run a Wednesday show. Knock yourself out. Oh, 18 people showed up. Wonderful. And I'm not talking about any particular club, obviously. So, December 1983.
We got a Tuesday open mic.
Come on, guys.
Every other Tuesday, so best of luck finding which one it is.
Figure it out. Figure it out. Show up. The other time, it'll be fucking raccoons playing Parcheesi on our stage. You can bet on it, though. There's point.
Holy shit.
Don't. But I would watch out. Some of the raccoons shave points for cocaine, so I'd really be careful about that. Jesus. So he signs a 3-year contract with Michigan. So they sign him a 3-year contract. He gets suspended left and right for various bullshit. On moving to the USFL and leaving the NFL, we have it in their own words. He says, quote, "I have no bitterness, but they didn't play me, and I felt my services should have been used." Like, I have services. I know when the aliens are coming. You need to put me on the field.
They're coming, guys.
Okay. So he was mediocre on the field. He's known as a huge bust. He was a number 1 draft pick. He's supposed to dominate. He's supposed to take over for Too Tall Jones, for Christ's sake, and be who was a hero in Dallas. And instead, he's just an average guy who they had to move to the interior.
Who missed the ball at the catch.
And we know why. He just didn't have it. It's just like, I'm just going to do coke.
He didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it.
He didn't
rather
want
do law
to.
school.
How sad is that?
It is sad. There's a lot of people that would kill for that.
Oh, my God.
Plenty of people.
Forget
Jesus,
it.
We've talked about them. And so March 1984, Larry and another Michigan player are suspended for missing practice. Apparently they were all fucking off together. Gee, you think cocaine was involved, maybe? They're reinstated a week later. It's just like, whatever. We'll welcome them back in. We need players. We need bodies.
Need them.
Now, March 1984, we get an interesting twist. Remember FBI agent Daniel Mitrione Jr.? Remember
Rings
him?
a bell.
Yeah. He pleads guilty to bribery, conspiracy, and intent to distribute cocaine.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he pleads guilty in 84 to this shit. How crazy is that?
Because cocaine makes a lot of money, and he wanted a better life for his family.
And you know what? If you're sitting there...
Because the Bureau doesn't pay shit.
Well, if you're an FBI agent and you're making, decent money, but nothing, you're not wealthy. 2 cars, you take a week vacation once a year, but you're not wealthy, and you're going investigating. You ever see Wolf of Wall Street when they go see Leo on the boat? Yeah. And he's like...
throwing handfuls of cash.
Yeah, and they're just looking at him like, you motherfucker. That's what it is. I mean, every once in a while, someone's going to go, maybe I'll do this for a little while.
That life looks better than this one.
Bank $2 million, and then finish out my career and have a nice retirement.
He just threw a fistful of hundreds in the air while 2 supermodels were blowing him.
Absolutely, with blowing him and snorting cocaine off of his
And I'm
nutsack.
sitting here with binoculars watching it from afar.
And enjoying it, actually, too.
I'm
That's
yanking
the thing.
to it.
I'd
I'm
like
totally
to be involved
yanking to it.
So all of these charges stemmed from his work in Operation Airlift, which remember was his whole Dallas organization.
Yeah.
The probe of players shaving points and raccoons shaving Parcheesi points. He's being held in Pittsburgh at this point, and a federal office in Pittsburgh, and he's cooperating with authorities. So that's going on. I wonder how much shit they got off of that.
It had to be
dirty
crazy.
FBI agent.
Other agents. He was just singing for a smaller term. He knows what he can get.
Other agents, people that he let get off for payoffs and bribes and coke. And God damn it. People must have been shitting at that point. Like, oh, no. So in 1985, the USFL started to fall apart a little bit, and some of the teams were merging with each other. Just some of the markets didn't work. Yeah. In 85, the Michigan Panthers merged with the Oakland Invaders. Okay. They become one team, and this happened with the Arizona Wranglers and the Oklahoma Outlaws. Okay. They merged, became Arizona Outlaws. Anyway, Larry is traded. They don't want him anymore once they merge. He's traded to the Houston Gamblers in exchange for some draft choice or something that they'll never get to use because the league's about to fold. Because the league folds in 86, so it doesn't matter. But in April of 85, he's released by the Gamblers, so he doesn't even make it through the whole season. Basically, late to practices, plays like shit on the field. He's a malcontent,
playing
doesn't
like
try.
a cokehead would play.
Doesn't try, doesn't give a shit, basically. So this begins his walking the earth phase of his life, basically, where he's just like...
Because he's impotent. He has no kids.
He's off in the middle of... At this point, he begins roaming the Pacific Northwest. Said he would drive around.
Wow.
Just stay places. Claimed he was homeless in Seattle for a stretch.
Wow.
Like, kind of by choice. Just hanging out.
Makes you think that a big guy like that wandering through the woods, maybe some of those pictures that people snapped of Bigfoot were him.
Maybe it was him. That's possible. You never know. He could have not shaved for a while.
Giant football player
we don't know.
Just running around
Looks
in the woods.
Fuzzy.
Yeah.
So he claims to be homeless in Seattle, and he is in the woods, and we know he's in the woods like Bigfoot because he gets arrested the weekend of July 26, 1985, for setting 3 fires. He sets 3 fires in the Mount Rainier Park in Paradise, Washington.
What?
3.
Why?
This wasn't like you got caught like you're not allowed to have campfires in that section. You did, and it's a $25 fine.
Right.
He set fires.
Wildfires.
He's setting shit on fire out there. What the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing? And first of all, too, you're in Washington. It's the wettest place ever. Nothing's going to burn.
No.
But he's setting...
Not for long, anyway.
Not for long. He's setting fires around this park. 3 of them.
That's scary.
And he gets arrested for it. I mean,
I would hope
obviously.
so.
Yeah, and they got him. I mean, he ends up... all they give him is he gets like a probationary thing. It's like a minor thing, and he gets $1,000 in fines to pay the fire costs, basically, for the cost.
That
of
lets
putting
you know
them out.
how small those fires were.
Yeah,
and how wet shit is.
But he went and won, and he's like, "I'll go try it over there. That looks drier. That looks like kindling. Let me fire it up. Let me get the old Zippo out.
Pine needles over here."
Unreal. So he ended up pleading guilty to setting a fire in an unauthorized place and disorderly conduct, and that was that. So,
Fits the crime.
Like, you fucking idiot at this point. So now he's out of the fucking league.
Yeah.
Out of the league. He totally blew it. He's talking about psychics and space shit. He's like out of his mind, crazy. He's wandering the Pacific Northwest setting fires. 6 years ago, in the last 10 years, he's been offered a scholarship to Harvard and drafted by the Super Bowl champions, played in a Super Bowl, could have tackled Joe Montana and stopped a dynasty from happening, all this shit. And instead, he's wandering around the Pacific Northwest. He's homeless. He wanders into a storefront. He doesn't know what it is. And it's the Shawarma Man. And he says... How is it you've come to arrive here? Huh? Why are you here? Harvard? You could go to school. You go Harvard. You go down. You have star on helmet. You end up in here. You want shawarma? Signs say closed. What's wrong with you with the cocaine? You freebase? Why you free? Why you set on fire, man? You just snort. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you?
You set too much on fire.
For why? For why? With the fire, the cocaine, the woods, you want to set it all on fire. Why? You want my lamb you set on fire? No, I make for you. It's okay. I make. Here. I make for you. You have. October 3rd, 1985. FBI says that they are reinvestigating Operation Airlift and the point shaving to, quote, determine the facts and whether the information was acted upon properly, because now this FBI agent, they're basically reinvestigating everything he ever did because he's crooked.
He's singing.
Absolutely, he's singing, and so this is going on. Nothing ever ends up coming of that, though, in the point shaving for him. It just kind of goes by the wayside. I don't know if there was some dirty shit going on. The FBI said, let's talk about this.
Let's not talk about this anymore.
Yeah, we already got the guy out there in trouble, Mitrione, and... So now, August 5th, 1986, he has quite the fucking day. Mm-hmm. This is quite the eventful day. He got up, he ate his fucking Wheaties, he got his energy, he put some Sweet and Low on him, and he put on his best, he put on his best clothes. He put on that shirt that you feel good in. Yeah. Where you're like, yeah, this shirt, the color looks good on me, it's cut right, like this is the one. He put on his finest clothes, he went out into the world.
And he was like, that Sweet and Low on those Wheaties really looked like Coke.
He went in.
Really use some Coke.
He began just a mountain of fuckery at this point. Holy balls here. Let's get into it.
August 6th is not his day.
August 5th, 1986. So he starts out at his mother's house in Virginia is where he begins. And we'll tell you what he was doing there, but not yet. Okay. We'll get to that because it's a fun surprise, okay? He's at his mom's house. He, without warning and without prearrangement, buys a ticket, boards a plane to Dallas immediately, okay?
He's like, I got to get there.
Flies to Dallas. Now, what he does in Dallas is somehow find his wife, Gloria. His wife filed for divorce from him after the fire incident.
Of course.
She's like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Now you don't even have a job. You're
lighting
a
wet shit
crackhead
on fire.
and you're lighting shit on fire. I'm out of here, right? So she still lives in Dallas. She's driving around Dallas running errands. All of a sudden, she sees a taxi speeding up behind her and, like, being right on her ass and, like, waving her over.
Follow that car.
She stops. She's like, what's going on? She didn't know if she had a flat tire or what was happening. She stops. The cab pulls up behind her, stops. Larry jumps out of the cab. He tracked her down in Dallas. Dallas is a big city.
Yeah.
He somehow found her in Dallas driving her car in a like did he get in the taxi and go, just drive?
Right.
Just drive. We're looking for a...
I'll tell you when to stop.
Yeah, we're looking for a green Mazda, man. Just I know the green Mazda. Just don't worry. Just drive till you see one. Okay, like I pictured the poor cabbie. So
it's very individual.
She gets out of her car. He gets out of the cab. They're both out in the road. He punches her in the mouth.
Oh, my God.
Punches her in the mouth, throws her back in her own car. He hops in the driver's seat and takes off.
With her in the car.
With her in the car.
Holy shit, that's kidnapping.
That's, at this point, yeah, I would say so.
That's charge one.
Charge one. So somehow he drives around Dallas for a while with her, decides that they're going to go to the Sheraton Hotel in Dallas.
Yeah.
They go in there. Somehow he fucking checks in with a bloodied wife and goes, I don't know if he already checked in beforehand and was just going back, takes her up to the room. So now he's got her in the room. Somehow, at some point, she gets away from him and runs out and ends up getting the hotel manager to call the cops because she's bloody and everything else. So police spokesman Bob Shaw said, quote, when police arrived, our officers noticed the woman had a busted lower lip and scratches on her arm.
That'll
so
do
they
it.
automatically were like, hey, what happened to her, obviously. So they're at the hotel. The cops arrest him at the hotel because he's still up in the room.
Yeah.
They arrest him, and they get a little bit of a surprise when they search him. They pat him down, and on his person, on him, in pockets and taped to him and everything else, they find $61,375 in cash.
What the fuck?
Mostly in $20 bills bundled up.
He flew with that today.
He flew with that. He is being held on $50,000 bond now for grand larceny because we're going to find out where he got that money from.
Oh, shit. It's not even his.
Not his at all. Where the hell is he going to get that money from? He's homeless in Seattle last year, setting fires in the fucking
now all of a sudden
forest.
he's got 60 grand taped to his
Cash
person.
money.
Yeah.
Back then, in 86. That's a lot of money in 86. It's a lot of money now, but in 86, that was a shitload more money.
Taped to his chest.
It's 50 grand for the money for his bond and $200 for assault. So you can beat your wife up and get out for $200, but God forbid you steal some cash. That's $50K. You are in prison, boy. But if you just punch your wife and kidnap her and drag her around the city
Scratches
and
all over
fucking
her
hold her
arm.
in a hotel room, that's fine.
$200.
$200, nothing. I picture Sonny Corleone in The Godfather after he breaks the guy's cameras, peeling a couple off. There you go. A bust.
Get out of here.
Hold on. Here's 200 more. I'm going to punch you tomorrow too. What the fuck is that? You can't that. And how is he not charged with kidnapping? How is he not charged with like you could have had 20 charges on that.
Reckless driving, I'm sure, could have been in there too.
Grand theft auto.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, if you went through that, you could have charged him with
a gamut of things.
Shit.
It's been crazy.
They're more interested in this money because you know where this money came from?
Oh no!
Earlier in the day, before he boarded the flight, he was at his mother's house and he pried open her safe.
Oh, what a shitbag!
He pried open his own mother's safe and stole her life savings that she didn't keep in a bank because she was old school and didn't trust banks. And there's a lot of people like that. My grandmother wouldn't fucking keep all her money in a bank. Old people don't do that shit. And she
$60K.
$60K was $64,000. He had spent $2,000 whatever because he only had $61,375, I believe, when they arrested him.
He got a late flight and probably flew first class.
Yeah, and also the cab fare for fucking driving around Dallas for 2 hours looking for a green Mazda or whatever the hell he was looking for.
$300-$400.
So I'm sorry. We've had a lot of people do a lot of shit. Eddie Johnson sexually attacked an 8-year-old girl or a 10-year-old girl. Chad Curtis was on top of people. Dave Meggett would rape anything that was within arm's reach of him. I mean, we've had bad people. We've had Schleister.
Dish towel.
Police
Dish
people.
towel,
Dish towel. Todd Payne. Jimmy Superfly Snuka killing his guy. We had a guy who fed his girlfriend to dogs. To the mother of his child. He had her chopped up and fed to dogs. Bruno DeSouza, episode 6.
But they did not leave their mother destitute.
He stole his mother's
everything.
Life savings.
Stole her everything.
And said, what can I do with this money? First thing I'm going to go do is beat that bitch's ass. That's number one. I'm going to go beat the shit out of my wife.
Unbelievable.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? This is when I was like, because I was looking at this story and I'm like, I don't know. And then I thought about it and I'm like, I started seeing other shit and I'm like, wait a second. He stole money from his mother?
His mother.
Oh, not to sound like an old guinea, but, you know, like your own fucking mother. What's wrong with you, huh? You got no fucking self-respect? Get over here. He needs
Get over here. I'll shoot you on Easter.
Yeah, he needs an old, like a fat guinea there to like smack him in the head.
That's crazy.
What a fucking asshole. Now, speaking of assholes, his wife Gloria, who, mind you, I feel bad for her. She's getting beat up and everything else, but she's also an asshole because right after this all happens and they get arrested, their divorce proceedings are still going on. She files a claim to Larry's mother's money in their divorce proceedings, saying that she is claiming that under Texas law, the money should be considered community property, even though he was trying to hide it, and she was entitled to, quote, at least half.
Well, at least possession is 9/10 of the law.
It's fucking stolen. It's fucking stolen. What do you can't just...
She's laying claim to somebody else's money.
This is not his money.
How do you do that?
You can't say that that's not... You can't. That would be like if he went and stood on a guy's property and said, "This is mine now," and she said, "I get half of that." What about the fucking guy whose property it is? It's not his. Unreal, man. That's balls right there. Yeah. That's some. Her and her. Imagine her lawyer being like, "We can get half that money." She's like, "You think we can? Let's file
That's exactly what he did.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
We get half of that.
Yeah.
I saw your husband.
We get half of that, and I get 10%.
Now, the Dallas County Sheriff's Department is holding the money as evidence, obviously, because it's fucking evidence. Gloria Bethea, his wife here, asked a Dallas family court judge to grant a temporary injunction to keep the sheriff's office from giving the cash to Virginia until their divorce is final. So she can get a piece of it because it's in Texas.
She's a bitch.
This lady sucks.
Yeah.
Not punch in the mouth sucks, but sucks. She sucks.
Listen, man, sometimes...
These are bad people together.
She deserved it. Now she deserves a punch in the mouth.
She didn't then. Now she does.
Now she deserves another one.
But not from him, from his mother.
From his mother.
His mother should come and be like, "You bitch," and pop her right in the mouth.
She should kick her in the mouth.
I would be perfect with that.
Bitch.
So a lawyer for the sheriff's department said, quote, "The sheriff's office takes the position that the money should be sent back to Virginia as part of the grand larceny case," end quote, fucking obviously, off the record probably.
And because somebody may need some fucking Geritol or some fucking, any sort of prescription money. The poor lady needs that to survive.
She needs her money, and we're going to get a quote from her on how she needs it.
$64,000. It's not going to last her forever.
No, there's a here, maybe in Virginia, she probably lives tight. You know,
she probably
Social
owns
Security,
a place.
little cash so you don't get charged. Ding on her Social Security.
She spends $800 a month.
Yeah. Now there's a hearing set for Monday, March 8th, or Monday, September 8th, to figure out what to do with this money. They end up saying, obviously, it's going back in the case. Now, September 5th, 1986 here, Larry's in jail still, awaiting trial. He is at the Lou Sterrett Justice Center in Dallas, Texas, awaiting trial. Still $50,000 bond that he obviously can't fucking pay unless he uses his mother's money. Larry is found unconscious in his jail cell early in the morning. So they take him to Parkland Memorial Hospital for, quote, precautionary examination, which I infer the meaning means like we think he's full of shit examination, precautionary, like we'll check him out, one of those things. Once he regains his senses, he refuses to talk to nurses. Yeah. Larry's like, I'm not talking to any of these fucking people, except for later on in the day when he would keep complaining of severe headaches. Okay. And the doctor said they could find nothing wrong with him whatsoever. And by 6:30 p.m., he's back in his jail cell. So he earned himself 12 hours of like hospital.
Good for
whatever.
Him. He got a vacation for a little bit.
Apparently so. So
you got some ice chips and some pudding.
Definitely. Now, September 7th, the next day, he's still at the jail, the same jail here, $50,200 bond. He signs a waiver of poor Alice Bethea here,
I feel so bad
long-suffering woman. She said she will prosecute her son because she thinks that if she doesn't, he'll keep the money. That's what she said. That's literally it. She said, quote, "He took the money out of here and he won't bring it back." This sounds like an old black woman so much, and I love her. I just want to hug this lady. He said, "She took the money out of here and he won't bring it back. And I'm not trying to hurt Larry because I love him. He's my son, but that money is all I had to live on." You can just picture her being like, "I ain't got no money. Like,
I got nothing.
I got nothing."
Yeah.
I love this lady. This poor Alice. I want to give her a hug.
I do too.
She's great, this poor woman.
That was in the 80s. She's probably dead now.
Probably. Now, December 3rd, 86, there's an article about all of Bethea's troubles and just kind of a whatever. And in this article, I found a hilarious thing about Willie Gault and Jim McMahon of the Bears.
Yeah.
And apparently they're not getting along in this article next to it. It's so goddamn funny. Like, some of their teammates don't like them. Listen to this quote of a...
2 years after the Super Bowl?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, well, a year later.
Yeah, a year later.
This was... They won it in early 86. This is less than 12 months later.
And they're already not getting along.
They're already not getting... Linebacker Otis Wilson said of Willie Gault, because it's Willie Gault and Jim McMahon not getting along, quote... Put it this way, if I had to trust him with my life or my wife, I wouldn't trust him with either one.
Oh, my God.
Like,
my life or my wife.
You're not getting either, asshole. And the Willie Gault, their family hates Jim McMahon, and they're bitching that he's not throwing Willie the ball to Florida. And here's the two I really feel bad for.
Top Flight, that's the golf stuff.
I think it is. And it's in Florida, too. Yeah. Pensacola, that's the hardcore golfing area, as we found out with Mr. Spencer, Brian Spencer, PGA Boulevard.
That's right.
That's right. Larry Bethea, commander at the VFW, post number 8564 in Waco, Texas. That is the Veterans of Foreign Wars. It's like a place where old veterans hang out.
Old war heroes go and talk about the war.
They hang out and smoke and complain about shit.
They can smoke indoors still, even though it's illegal in most places because it's a private place.
Apparently, he really needs to raise money for post 8564 due to, quote, dwindling participation in the bingo program.
Were they shaving points in that bingo?
Oh, you know they were, like a motherfucker. Now, the guy...
B56, bingo! I said B46.
The guy I really feel bad for, though, the most, because I almost confused...
Yeah.
I almost can write it now. You want to write it once you get your life together. That way, it's a story of triumph.
Yeah.
And it's a...
Because right now, it's just fucking pathetic.
Right now, it's just, hey, this is kind of sad, and wow, he's really bitter, and ooh, all those guys did cocaine? So they're set up all night. They talk about this, and it's just bullshit talk. You know, you write a book, we'll do this, you know. Like people talk.
Sure.
They fall asleep. Jared wakes up. Larry is gone, and his apartment door is wide open. He didn't even close his door. He just left his... Now, I picture, too, it's not in this because he's his cousin and he wouldn't say it, but you fucking know he stole his VCR. You know he committed the most 80s crime ever and stole his VCR for crack money. You fucking know it. I'm sorry.
How crazy is that?
You know he did while wearing a members-only jacket.
I've never had anybody leave my house and just leave the door open.
Wide open.
That's so bizarre.
What the hell? It's his cousin. It's not a frat house. He went to his cousin's house, who's a professional guy who works for the paper. Close his goddamn door.
He had to leave the shit mysterious. I want to write a book.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. When you wake up, we'll talk about this.
We'll talk about it more.
Where's he at? The door's open.
So now, continuing 87, beyond February, he's in Hampton, Virginia. He's living with his mother. Somehow his mother let him move back in with her.
What the fuck?
She's a saint, that Alice.
She's amazing.
Everybody, if Alice is still alive, which she's probably not, but if she is and you live in Hampton, Virginia, and she's around there...
Tell her I love her.
You go over there, you knock on her door, you bring her something to eat.
Yeah.
Bake her some goddamn brownies. Don't put any weed in
them.
She's
Bring her
an
some
old
sweet
lady.
tea.
Bring her some sweet tea. You know what? Just kick her. You know
Have
what you
a
do?
conversation with her.
A couple bags of groceries, leave them on the doorstep, knock and run away.
Yeah,
Here you go, lady. Here's some steaks for you or something.
Go.
Help her out.
Now you're on board.
She won't take money.
Drop
She's
some
proud.
Metamucil
She's proud. She doesn't want anything from you. She's proud. So. They're the guy. They were like the higher holding the hot potato when the league folded, and they have to when he retired. When this guy got they have to pay him.
Deliver him some checks.
He is getting bi-weekly checks, so 2 checks a month, for a total of $332 each. So he is making $664 a month, which even in 87 is not great. Not great. Things are so bad. He works as like a mover for a couple weeks, but then quits, and he's just trying to find something. His friend says that he basically would spend his $332 every 2 weeks on cigarettes, beer, and cocaine.
Yeah,
just that's all he would do.
That'll do it.
He actually applies for a job at a 7-Eleven a few blocks from his mother's house and does not get the job.
Wow.
So you went from Harvard offer, Super Bowl champion team, top of the world, Playboy Club, Monday Night Football.
Harvard offer to Michigan State to stud on campus.
Please hire me to clean the slushy lines. And they say, nope.
May I sell Slurpees?
No thanks. Also, too, at this point, I feel bad for poor Elvis Bethea. March 2nd, 1987, Jet Magazine prints a correction because earlier they had named former Houston Oiler Elvis Bethea as the guy who stole his money from his mother.
Wow.
So this poor guy's got a fucking article about him that he's a scumbag that stole money from... He's the ultimate mistaken identity. I feel bad for this guy.
Not even
That's
his
why
real
I feel
name.
Bad for. No, they just got the last name.
Close.
That's piss poor, man. Okay, April 23rd, 1987.
Yeah.
This is when shit gets a little...
Uh-oh.
This is bad stuff here. Now, Larry cashes a paycheck. It is his last paycheck that he's getting from the gamblers.
Okay.
Last check, and it's only for half the usual amount. His last check, I guess it was the end of the line, and that's all the money that was left in the whatever.
Right.
So, Larry's depressed.
Of course.
Obviously.
He can't afford all the coke and beer and cigarettes.
He tells his friend that he has to get out of town, and he just can't take it, but he cashes his check and buys cocaine with it.
Yeah.
So he gets himself all good and coked up, because that's what you do to get your nerve up.
That's how you leave town.
Wanders around Newport News, Virginia, just wandering around looking for shit to get into, basically. Starts breaking into some cars around his mother's neighborhood, looking for things. Finds a .38 caliber handgun in one of the cars and decides this could be helpful. This could be useful for a guy who needs cash. This will help you get cash. I found a money getter. So he wanders.
Oh, look, a cash register.
He wanders around, ends up at 11:25 p.m. He walks into a Tinny Giant, it's some like convenience store, and the clerk, Mariam Coleman, think about this, okay? He walks in and robs this store. The clerk behind the counter, Mariam Coleman, went to high school with him and has known him for over 10 years.
Oh, God.
She's known him for almost 15 years, this person. And he still wants it so bad. He knows she knows him, and he still robs her.
What?
Gets $27. You know you're going to get caught.
So dumb.
$27 he got out of that. You think that's enough? Do you think he's going to run away?
Fuck no.
No, because you know what?
Because that's not enough money.
Right next door, you know what's right next door? A 7-Eleven. Do you know which 7-Eleven it was?
The one that didn't hire him.
The one that he applied for a
what
fucking
an asshole.
job at. Not only do they know who he is, they have references. He's got an application. Here's 3 people that know me. They have references for this guy. They can go, hey, you know where Larry is? Yeah, that's how much they know who he is.
They have your college diploma there, you
no
idiot.
Shit. The employee of the 7-Eleven is a woman named Nuna Hill. She said, quote, I didn't know his name. I didn't know he was Larry Bethea, but he was just a regular customer. He was in here just the other night talking to the assistant manager for about 15 minutes. So this is not thinking. This is, I'm coked up. Fuck it, I'm doing it. I don't care. And then he's thinking, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to get out of town.
Right.
That's his
Won't
line.
matter if they know who I am if I'm not here.
Yeah, but Jesus Christ, what are you thinking? Like,
that's unbelievable.
How much money are you going to get from a 7-Eleven at midnight?
In my mind
Unreal.
That can get me there because I'm a normal person.
No shit, and I'm not on coke right now.
I'm not necessarily a normal person, but
no, you're not on coke.
No.
I'll give you that. So Nuna Hill again, she says, quote, he was sweating profusely. It was popping off of him, and he was real jittery.
I'm picturing, like, the sweat droplets are like popcorn.
It sounds like they're describing Stanley Wilson in the bathroom, doesn't it?
Sounds like it's...
Jittery, sweat popping off his face.
Describing somebody that is super coked out.
And she said he apparently knew the police would be coming any minute. And she went on to talk about because he robbed the store next door where he knows the fucking girl. And they all know her because it's right down the street from his house, like so close. He wanted to work there.
He knew the cops were coming, or was he saying they're coming?
No, yeah, exactly. Now afterwards, he starts wandering around again. He's out there. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't know how to do anything here. He wakes up a neighbor of his, because he's in the neighborhood, wakes up a neighbor and asks the neighbor to call him a cab. Imagine this guy's knocking on your door. You come down, hey, Larry, what's going on? And he's like, call me a cab. It's midnight now. 11:30, you robbed the 7-Eleven.
The sweat droplets popping in your face.
They call a cab. He leaves before it's even there. He's like, nah, fuck it. Can't wait for it. Takes off. This is what he's doing.
I'm faster than a cab right now anyway.
And now the police are looking for him. They know he's where he is. Larry heads to a boarding house. Now, this is a crack shit den boarding house. This is like not good at all. It's like a
bad hostel.
It's bad, and it's known as like where you go if you want to get into trouble and you want to find some drugs and whatever. He's going looking.
And he knows it well.
He does. His friend, his childhood friend, it's his neighborhood. Never go home.
No.
Rule. Crime and sports, goddamn rule number 5. Never move back to your hometown.
It never ends good.
Your home fucking town.
Jesus.
He's looking for his childhood friend, Tony McKnight, because he was staying there. Now, Tony was in jail on a drug charge and wasn't there. He was gone for the last week. So they told him, hey, we don't know where Tony hasn't been around in a week. Right. So Larry doesn't know what to do. He hangs around the place for a little while, wanders around to the side of the house, and shoots himself in the right temple with his .38. Ends it right there.
He looked at his winnings from the
Cops
robbery.
For me.
He's like, I've got $13. Or you got 27 from one, and what did he get from the other?
No, they didn't have
nothing.
a total. I didn't get a total.
He probably had $48 in his pocket.
Guys. I only had one time.
$48. Coke's wearing off.
Yep.
$48 ain't getting you very high.
38 to the right temple and pulls the trigger. Pronounced dead at 2:08 a.m. McKnight's brother said that he thought Larry was like looking for a familiar atmosphere, because that's a lot of times people do that. Yeah. Tony McKnight, the guy he was looking for, was just destroyed by this. He said, quote, "If I'd been there, I could have taken the gun from him and sent him home to then go to jail." But still, how much is he regretting this fucking 4-year suspended sentence right now? I mean, honestly, that year in jail could have saved his fucking life.
Could have got him clean. It could have done everything.
On his death here, J.A. Carey, who's the Newport News police chief, said, "This man who had so much going for him lost everything in his life. I believe that Larry Bethea would be alive today if he'd been able to stay away from drugs." Well, no shit, obviously.
I think everybody would be.
Tom Landry, ex-coach of the Cowboys, said, "It's hard to believe a player who was as congenial and as happy as Larry seemed to be with the Cowboys would end his life in this manner." Harlan Holt. Let's bring back Harlan Hot. Nice to meet you.
Tell me about
I run the varsity over there at the high school, over there at Ferguson High.
Sounds like a guy that says, "Glad to know you" when he meets you.
Glad to know you.
Glad to know you.
Glad to know you, partner. He says, quote, "His recent problems had to be drug-related. I can't conceive of someone who had that much going for him throwing away his life unless it was under the influence of something that controlled his actions." Yeah. Obviously. Here's the one. I'm going to save this one moment here. Hollywood Henderson on his death. Awesome. Let's get a Hollywood Henderson quote. Quote, "My heart always goes out to those afflicted by the disease of alcoholism and drug addiction. He shot himself in the head after he robbed a store of people he knew, and I understand where Larry had been."
Oh, boy.
Like, could have been me, basically. We'll hear a lot about Larry, about fucking Hollywood Henderson coming up soon. Now, let's get the final quote here on it from Tex Schramm. This is the one that pisses me off. Quote, "It's just a crime to see this kind of thing happening when you can take steps to stop it. If there were drugs in his life when he played for the Cowboys, we were unaware of it. If we had been aware of it, we would have been able to do something."
Oh, Jesus.
You full of shit asshole. How many quotes did I give you of him knowing that the FBI is investigating, 2 different probes into him, 10 players? They had an FBI agent on staff following them around the year after he's freebasing cocaine the whole season.
He can't just give a fucking heartfelt, I'm terribly saddened that he's gone.
No, he had to
fucking admonish himself from the whole situation.
You piece of shit, Tex. That's the ultimate silver-haired middle-aged white man asshole.
What a thing to say.
Exactly. He used these people for what, and I get it, they're all adults and they're all whatever, but you know what? At some point, you have to pick one or the other.
Right.
Either you're going to take responsibility or you're not. And if he said, you know what, that's on him, he was an adult, he did it, he can go fuck himself, I'd have more respect for him. But that bullshit of, if we knew, if only we knew, we could have helped.
You
fucking knew. Good news, on July 15th, 2003, Tex Schramm died in Texas. So fuck you, Tex Schramm. Salute, cocksucker. Now, in 2006, Jared Bell, first cousin here, writes a really nice article in the USA Today about Tony Dungy's son's suicide and how that compares to Larry's and how that affected his life, and they're very similar situations.
Tony Dungy's son,
killed himself.
I knew that, but was he addicted to something?
I don't know if he was addicted to something, but it was suicide.
That was fascinating to me.
I was reading more about that.
I remember when Tony Dungy's son died, and it was sad. It was terrible.
Tony Dungy seems like a he's like a nice guy.
Sweetheart of an old man.
Doesn't seem like a football coach.
No.
Now September.
He's an ugly man too.
He is. He's looks like
he's hard to look at.
He is. He looks like you just need to go and blow into him, and blow him up about 5%.
Right.
He's like
5 psi. He's
like an air mattress with a pinhole about 2 a.m. You're like, it looks like an air. It's not right. It's a little wrinkly in places it shouldn't be. So. September 30th, 2014. Why does he look like a ball sack?
He looks like a ball sack, and his neck is so skinny.
Oh, man.
It's weird.
September 30th, 2014, Frontline PBS had a report on CTE.
There's no cancer in that man?
No, unfortunately. Not unfortunately for Dungy. I was doing it on the CTE. Right. Fortunately for Dungy, because I like him. I don't want him to have cancer. But he looks like he's had some bouts of chemo.
He looks like Pagano 5 years ago.
He does, but worse. So, and that's funny because he replaced him, which is funny. Right. Yeah. So they do a report on CTE brain injuries, and they have NFL players that have committed suicide.
Yeah.
And 76 of the 79 brains of these people tested positive for CTE.
Damaged, yeah.
They were damaged for that.
Jimmy
Out of
Seau.
their total amount of brains, we're going to bring him up in a second, their total amount of brains, they had 101 out of 128 had CTE, and that's including college and high school, too. The other ones were just the NFL. But college and high school, it's still an 80% of those people that killed themselves because they're fucked up in the head, so they killed themselves. Dr. Ann McKee, director of the Brain Bank, said, obviously, there is a high percentage of living people that are not suffering from CTE, but playing football, and the higher the level you play football, and the longer you play football, the higher your risk, obviously. This is goes for Duerson and Junior Seau, who had the brain injuries, and they actually shot themselves in the chest. So their brains can be studied. And that was the thing.
That's fucking crazy.
And Larry Bethea, we didn't get that.
That's how much pain they were in, that they shot themselves in the chest to make sure you
tell
could
everyone,
study
too,
this. Yeah.
to study my brain.
I can't do this any longer. I'm going to shoot myself in the chest.
Yeah, because I know my brain is messed up.
I need you to look at this shit.
That's weird because when people have Alzheimer's, because it's kind of an Alzheimer's syndrome, but when they have Alzheimer's, they don't really know they have Alzheimer's. Right. These guys fucking know it. They know it. Exactly. Right. They don't know. They're just in this other world. These guys,
sad but hilarious.
These guys are fucking... A month ago, I could remember this. What's going on?
Alzheimer's is terrible, and if anybody out there knows anybody suffering for it, I apologize.
Jesus, hard out to you, man.
It makes you forget to breathe.
Bad.
That's how you die.
Yeah, your
That's
body.
Fucking
it's so
crazy.
Bad. Now, the average payouts for these players, families who had the CT and all, it's about $4 million. And all the lawyers are even saying, that's not for that's not for the players, that's for the families who lived with the players who turn abusive because they have no impulse control.
That's nothing.
No, not compared to what the NFL is pulling in on these guys.
No.
This silver-haired, middle-aged football league.
And not to what they suffer. So, fucking take care of these people.
I mean, that's Larry Bethea in a sad goddamn nutshell. I mean, Jesus Christ, guys, how sad is that?
Terrible.
So, I mean, if you love stories like that, please go on iTunes and give us 5 stars. Tell us you're following instructions. Give us some kind of, inside jargon, whatever you want to do. Like we said, the iTunes reviews mean the world to us. We know it takes 30 seconds. Please help us out. It really, really does the world for us. Also, if you want to help us out another way, help us out because there's a lot of things there's a lot of websites where I want to subscribe so I can get into newspapers from the past and shit. And honestly, I can't goddamn afford it. We don't make a lot of money.
We got to buy that.
We have to buy that shit, and it has to come out of my pocket. And I have fucking 2 kids and I'm divorced and I can't goddamn afford this shit. I got Christmas presents to buy.
2 kids and I'm divorced.
I don't have this money. I'm a goddamn comedian, and you have 2 kids.
I got 2 kids and a wife, and she's a stay-at-home.
Yeah,
so I got no money either.
I'm telling you guys, patreon.com/crime and sports. If you want to throw us a few bucks, it can only make the show better, and I can have more research and get you guys even weirder facts. Maybe I can find out how much he stole from 7-Eleven or whose fault it was that Larry Bethea couldn't have children. Or,
I want to know that so bad.
Exactly which raccoons are shaving points in Parcheesi. But it helps, and it helps us so much. And if you just like us, just please do it. There's a lot of little extras and little things that will send you rewards if you do it. But please do that. Otherwise, right now we're going to do some shout-outs.
To people that did do that.
Social media, real quick. Yeah. These are the people that shout us out and talk to us. If you want to get in this little group here, you can reach us on Twitter @Crime and Sports. Facebook.com/Crime and Sports. Yep. Instagram, you can get us at Crime and Sports on Instagram. Look us up there.
We have Frankie the Crime and Sports Dog.
Frankie the Crime and Sports Dog, and all of this good shit. Please find us everywhere. Email us at crimeandsports@gmail.com, and you can be one of these fine people that Jimmy is going to discuss right now.
Marius Johnson is
Mr. Marius Johnson. I actually knew that too, and I totally fucked up and said
we know you're a dude. We know you don't have a vagina.
I had to listen back to go, did I say her? And I went, shit, I did.
And you don't have to donate your kidney for us, but we appreciate your offer.
Thank you so much, Marius.
And Elder Hennington, sorry for ruining your childhood.
Yes, I'm going to email you back also because I want to ask you some 80s Dallas wrestling questions because I watched that shit when I was a kid.
Nicole Gross donated to us as well.
Thank you, Nicole
Very
Gross.
Nice lady.
We appreciate it
Matt
so
Kirby,
much.
Professor P, Jake at Will W Jam, I guess, is on Twitter.
Thanks,
Kerrigan
dude.
At Kerrigan Bro. That
I
awesome.
like that guy.
Victor from Iceland. We realize that you are the one that wet the bed. You son of a bitch.
Ireland, not Iceland.
Did I say Iceland?
You said Iceland. We fucked up the guy. Now we're fucking up the country.
We're going to ruin every chance we
Victor
can to
from
make
Ireland.
this personal for you, Victor.
You're the bed pisser, goddammit. You son
Jack
of a bitch.
Cahill said you did it.
You did it.
Polly 2 times. Jessica Purdy for always retweeting. Thank you, dear. Erica Hogan, Nathan Bland, Jason Fuller, Mark Busby, Jay Bird Wedbetter.
Of course.
Jay Wellesley.
Monge, Sanja.
Yep, and Monge. And then
Good
Martin,
Reverend.
The Good Reverend. He kept his beard, I believe.
Love him, man. Yeah, keep the beard, Rev. It looks cool on you.
Tin Can Dan, Nia Wrong, Neville Harvey, Martin
Nia Wrong, too.
Wire Nut. At Wire Nut.
Wire
Cunt, I said.
Wire Cunt. Yeah, that's his Twitter handle.
That's it.
I'm at Wire Cunt.
And Mark Burns. You guys, this week was so busy between Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. We're having a great time. And next week is going to be so much fun.
Amazing. First week in the new studio. Yes. We have so many big business announcements too coming up. Guys, you heard me bitch and complain. Yeah. You heard me go on rants. And
it paid off.
It paid off, actually. Yeah, it paid off. A network wants us, and
we will give ourselves to them.
A deal we can live with and love and be happy about, and they want to help us lay some fucking tile, basically. Like I said, man,
they got a tack hammer.
They're putting up drywall.
Do you know why? Because the guy in charge knows how to do that shit.
They know how to do the smoothing shit with the drywall in between the seams. They can do that.
They're good at mudding.
They're good at mudding. Exactly. They get the flat thing and they work it out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Because the guy in charge is a carpentry expert. The guy can build a fucking house.
Absolutely.
And we're going to build one with him.
So thank you so much, guys, for listening and for being a part of this and for helping us out so much to get to there. If you want to follow us on social media, Jimmy, you want to give them yours?
I am at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And stick around. This is so much fun.
Definitely. I'm at Jimmy P is funny. You can find me around Petrogallo. Good luck spelling it. Look me up. Friend me and call me a cunt. All right. Guys, thank you so much from the last time in this particular location.